Hello friends, we begin with the Mikoyan Gurevich, 29 Fulcrum from the Ukrainian Air Force, on an attack mission, flying at full throttle at treetop level, heading to the front line to deliver hospitality to the Horde. But it's not the only action in the air. On the night of January 10th to 11th, Ukrainian Special Operations Forces launched a long-range precision strike on 3 major ice-resistant offshore drilling platforms, run by state-owned Zeta Luke Oil in the northern Caspian Sea. They're developing one of Mordor's biggest oil finds in the area, with estimated reserves of about 129 million tons of oil and substantial associated gas. Ukrainian authorities indicated that these platforms contribute to the supply chains of fuel and financial resources that directly support the operation of the Russian armed forces. The footage shows direct hits on the platform structures, causing fires and obvious secondary explosions. Meanwhile, the technologically advanced and well-planned invading Zeta Horde deploys its cavalry groups to try to pass between the Ukrainian positions. Luckily, the Mosquito operators have a conscience and make Ivan dismount before giving them Putin's kiss. The horses seem to get scared easily by the drones, and that helps them throw their orc riders to the ground. Everything is going according to plan. But come on, let's not say that Putler's cavalry isn't a cutting-edge force. Here we can see a telecom hussar from the Zeta tourists carrying advanced Starlink communication systems, powered by battery packs in a state-of-the-art pouch. The phone on Putler's hussar's chest transmits in real time to track how far the unit's offensive has advanced. Wow, I was worried that by 2026 defenders would face fleets. No, I think we'll soon see many riderless horses galloping across Ukraine's plains. Ivan sometimes does something right, like in this case where they developed camouflage nets covered with bricks made of painted polystyrene foam, designed to camouflage their positions by making them look like piles of rubble. The use of this type of camouflage is part of the evolution of Russian tactics, which includes the use of small assault groups that carry these nets compressed in special packs. They use them to conceal their forward positions from the Ukrainian mutant mosquitoes. On the other hand, a nuclear scientist from the Horde decides to see if a Ukrainian mosquito is asleep. Spoiler, the mosquito wasn't sleeping, just waiting for him. But do you know what the best part is? The signal to go into party mode. Come on, you have to admit that was epic. Looks like we have today's Darwin Award winner. Mosquitoes aren't always lucky enough to have orcs approach them. Most of the time, their operators have to inspect every crack and every hole to find the orc nests that are trying to infiltrate. For example, this one had settled in a metal pawn's remains. If he didn't demilitarize it, he surely left it deaf. So Putin's sons won't worry? New reinforcements keep arriving at the front, but I don't know which part of Russia they're from or where their Slavic chants originate. In any case, the invader in charge of the group comments on the number of expendables they've received and that they're good at singing as well as being very happy. But that doesn't matter because soon they'll be sent to the front and sing a very different tune. The Russians' fraternal spirit with their global anti-imperialist brothers. The Russophiles now realize they have a rare chance to make a brief but meteoric career defending their leader Putler. Well, but what do we have here? A Ukrainian air defense video accidentally revealed the presence of a B-2X Tempest anti-aircraft system in service with Ukrainian forces. This is a hellish buggy, equipped with a precision radar paired with a couple of Hellfire missiles adapted to shoot down aerial targets. These wicked Ukrainians had kept it well hidden, and no one knew about the presence of this system, which was only unveiled last year at the United States Army Association conference held in Washington. At least 2 are operating with the Defenders, likely the ones who arrived secretly. They're probably units sent to Ukraine for testing. Anything that can shoot down drones, missiles, cruise missiles, or anything flying from the Z-Horde is always welcome. Inside Mordor, Freedom of Russia Legion partisans teamed up with Ukrainian Military Intelligence Directorate, sabotaged Mordorite territory in November 2025. They destroyed 15 pieces of military equipment, including Kamaz, Ural, and SIL trucks, belonging to a Russian army regiment stationed 65 kilometers from the border. The vehicles transported troops and ammunition but were irreparably damaged. Come on, Ivan. Let's get those wheelbarrows to start moving the supplies. Going back to the air front, in this video we see the first footage of a Ukrainian F-16 captured by the flight camera of an invader's drone, which was flying at high altitude somewhere on the front. This video was reportedly recorded in June. The F-16's radar also apparently detected the drone. It's also possible that it didn't have the necessary weaponry to shoot it down, or that the Russian aircraft was outside the safety zone defined by the Ukrainian pilots for operation. It's always preferable to preserve a valuable fighter bomber and its pilot, rather than shoot down an observation drone. An interesting encounter that I don't recall we've discussed on the channel, but, well, there it is. A Ukrainian fighter jet, probably a Mikoyan Gurevich, 29 using high-precision aerial bombs, destroys one of the last fortified positions held by the invaders, who remain isolated in Kupiansk. Only small pockets of resistance remain, moving between buildings to avoid the mosquitoes. These maneuvers are carried out, in this case, by a Mikoyan Gurevich 29 MU-1, equipped with French hammer-guided bombs, which it uses to precisely destroy a Russian assault group's shelter and an ammunition depot. F-16s usually escort Soviet attack aircraft operated by Ukraine. By drawing air defense's attention, they clear the way for older colleagues to finish their missions. On January 11, the Z invasion of Ukraine will have lasted 1,418 days, matching the duration since the start of the German-Soviet invasion. Counting from the crossing of the border by the Germans on June 22nd until the official proclamation of victory on May 9th and the capitulation of Berlin. Imagine expecting Kiev to fall in days or weeks, yet your special military operation has now lasted longer than the Great Patriotic War, and still be fighting to take Pokrovsk and some villages near Kupiansk. The master strategist has done it again. Hello friends. Admire the air defenses of the Z-Horde in action, based on state-of-the-art wooden planks. Everything is going as planned. The anti-aircraft gunner from the previous video was likely preparing to repel an attack from these 2 MiG-29S armed with hammer precision bombs, who are delivering the Ukrainian Air Force's best wishes to invaders advancing on the Donetsk front. It's hammer time. And speaking of advanced weapons, a few days ago, a photo surfaced of a Ukrainian Mirage 2000 fighter jet parked at a dispersal base, where, for the first time, you can see that French medium-range air-to-air missile d'interception, de combat et d'autodéfense missiles have been mounted on its inner pylons. Until that moment, only records of the Mirage carrying short-range magic missiles had been seen, which can also be seen on the outer pylons. Interestingly, the missile d'interception, de combat et d'autodéfense missile transfer was unknown. So I think someone is going to get in trouble for inadvertently revealing the presence of this missile. Even though the Seeker cover is on, by its shape it seems to be the radar-guided version. Features thrust vector control, high off-bore sight capability, and lock-on after launch via data link. The Mika is built to target fighter jets such as Soviet Sukhoi and Mikoyan Gurevich, as well as attack helicopters, cruise missiles, and drones. From short distances in direct aerial combat to approximately 60 to 80 kilometers away, depending on the missile variant and launch conditions. The Mika turns the Mirage from a short-range interceptor into a medium-range air defense asset in Ukraine's layered air defense network. In this footage, the Kremlin elder speaks to several children on camera. That Russian soldiers are waging war and committing war crimes in Ukraine because it is God's will. Using children in the video has a reason. Children across the Z Federation watching television will feel Putin is speaking directly to them. This is brainwashing at its best, teaching children early that attacking other countries is acceptable because their nation is carrying out God's will. Here, one invader carrying out the divine will is caught frozen by a Ukrainian attack drone camera. He's probably wondering why God turned his back on him. Although maybe this was always the plan. As usual, this group of invaders is absolved by a swarm of mosquitoes from the 414th Brigade, the Birds of Magyar, in a religious frenzy, rush to share the word with the Z tourists. And the word is boom? Obviously, they have received a great deal of advanced training. Now they're all firing their Kalashnikovs at the mosquitoes that came to give them Putin's kiss. I can't include the original Ukrainian music, which starts a series of odes about Putler's appearance and health. But I still hope you enjoy this cheerful tune that always accompanies these summary videos of the Horde's adventures in Donetsk. It seems that Ivan doesn't like the music because he always runs in any direction. I wonder if mosquitoes have speakers. We've seen some already use these systems to instruct surrendering orcs. It would be epic if they played Ride of the Valkyries when diving. I'm not sure it would cheer up the tourists, but it would greatly improve the experience for mosquito operators who witness the attacks. Come on, Ivan, cheer up a little.
Bada-boom! Motherfucker!
In the front area where Signum operates, Infantry Z soldiers keep carrying out Putler's orders. To speed up the Lord's orders, they've chosen to move to the front in groups of 4 orcs per quad in the column. That way, they don't have to wait so long to be attended to by the swarm that's waiting to welcome them. Nothing says things are fine at the front, like not being able to give each invader their own motorcycle, or scooter or horse to attack. I just hope that the devil, at least, gives them some credit for caring so much about saving the lives of dozens of Ukrainian mosquitoes. Regarding Amor Z, The invaders' two daughters claim their father was demilitarized during the 3-day special operation, an event from June or July last year. They say that their father's friend told their mother that he had a serious wound on his leg and that he was left behind. Now, they say that he is either dead or missing in action. They don't know for sure. There is a possibility, a very, very small one, like 2%, that he is a prisoner because his body still hasn't been found. But his mom says it's unlikely. They ask what they'd buy with their dad's $87,000 compensation. A house, he answers, for about $74,000. And they talk about how their mom has been looking at options, including a 2-story one for $72,000. They're going to buy it if it's confirmed that she won't be coming back. The video shows how devastated they both are by their father's loss. A close family with strong Christian values. I hope they get the house and their dad keeps smiling at them from hell. Probably still warmer than Mother Mordor. Now, on a more serious note, early January 9th, the Z-Horde used an IRBM Oreshnik intercontinental ballistic missile for the second time, this time against the Elbid Oblast. Moscow said the strike was retaliation for an alleged Ukrainian drone attack on Putin's residence late last month, an accusation that Kyiv and Washington have called absurd. According to reports, the missile was launched from the Russian Kapustin Yar test range in the Astrakhan region near the Caspian Sea, and it traveled approximately 1,800 kilometers in 15 minutes, reaching hypersonic speeds of Mach 10. The attack reportedly targeted one of Ukraine's biggest underground gas storage sites, near the Polish border and roughly 150 kilometers from NATO's logistics center in Czezów, Poland. The mayor and regional governor of Lviv confirmed 6 strikes on the facilities outside the city limits. No residential areas were directly damaged and no civilian casualties were reported. The warheads weren't explosive. Instead, they used high-speed impact to damage underground gas storage facilities. The Security Service of Ukraine released photos of missile fragments recovered in the Lviv region, classifying them as evidence and labeling the attack as a war crime for targeting civilian infrastructure. Z-Mill bloggers view the attack as propaganda and intimidation targeting the West, especially NATO countries, currently formalizing security guarantees for Ukraine, which could involve sending European ground troops, a new red line for Moscow. Apparently, we've returned to Putin's red lines era. To end on a lighter note, a mutant Ukrainian mosquito had an unexpected close encounter while flying over the steppes of Donetsk, when someone tried to stop it as it flew low searching for invaders. That deer should go buy a lottery ticket because it has no idea what it just escaped from. If it hit the mosquito, it would have been the wild headless horseman story. Hello, friends. We have to get started with this. Ivan is back at the drawing board and has formed his first Teletubby Assault Brigade. Now, more seriously, the invaders are literally starting to experiment with portable toilets bought on Temu so their orcs can evade detection by the thermal cameras of the Ukrainian mosquitoes. I hope someone tells the invaders wearing these advanced camouflage suits that thermal cameras can detect all temperatures above absolute zero, so their observation is not based solely on body heat. But come on, you have to give credit to the Russian commanders who are willing to lose about 30 guys just to see if anything they come up with might work. It must feel good to be picked to try your unit commander's newest idea. Now you must cross a field full of attack mosquitoes, hoping a camping toilet will save you. We'll likely see videos of these advanced D technology examples in combat soon, from an attack drone's perspective. Apparently a pattern is emerging here, since a few days ago we saw how now the Horde mounts containers on their tanks to protect them from the mosquitoes. This could offer a cheap, modular way to protect their armored vehicles, since it can be replaced quickly and inexpensively after each mission, if they survive. The invader was stopped crossing the street illegally. Ivan fled quickly into a building. He nearly evaded the mosquito, but he tried to close the door, but since the door was Ukrainian, it simply didn't close. Bad timing from the invader. Now we'll have a sequel to Fast and Bliad. From Donetsk chase, where Dominik Toratovsky is pursued for kilometers by a wild Ukrainian mosquito, delivering the word of Magyar. And the word he delivered when he caught up with him.
Bada boom!
Joking aside, the skill of the Ukrainian mosquito pilot in maneuvering his drone is remarkable, chasing his target for quite a while at high speed. Any drone pilot will tell you that this kind of chase is not easy to pull off. Ivan now knows this part of the front is guarded by a top air combat unit from the Kardia Brigade of the National Guard. In the second part of the movie, we see a team of Toratovsky's colleagues traveling on a quad with a trailer cart. The mosquito, trying to spread as much joy as possible, gently descended onto the cart where 6 invaders were traveling. I doubt there will be a sequel to this scene. We needed a second mosquito to record the impact. We'll wonder what happened. The 3rd Azov Assault Brigade shared a family album video showing one of their mosquitoes promoting 11 illegal tourists to graduates of the special military operation. We no longer see BMPs attacking recklessly with roofs covered in Zeta reactive armor, which didn't seem to enjoy the ride or its outcome. But come on, those of us who support the Defenders will agree that these videos are classics. Someone diagrammed how the bioreactive armor works. They're too heavy. The Alpha Special Operations Center of the Security Service of Ukraine now shares a summary of their mosquito's recent encounters with illegal tourists. This video is a summary of the virtuosity of their operators, who have become not only outstanding pilots, but also a wall against which the infantry of the Horde constantly crashes, still being sacrificed by the Kremlin's master strategist. According to the Alpha Group report, in just the last 2 weeks of December, their drone operators sent 2,100 invaders back to Moscovia via airmail, but also destroyed 7 tanks, 45 armored vehicles, 13 artillery and rocket launchers, 3 air defense, and 2 electronic warfare systems. That doesn't include the 255 mobile horrors quads and motorcycles that also went to the scrapyard. Most still had their illegal tourist crews inside. Who? Come on, guys, we're talking about real demilitarization here. A few days ago, I was watching some statements by Putin in a church where he was pontificating, saying that Russian soldiers fight fulfilling the will of the Lord when they go to the front. Looks like the sign suggests the Lord doesn't care much for them, guys. On January 15th, 2026, the 1020th Anti-Aircraft Missile Regiment used a Sting interceptor drone developed by the volunteer group Wild Hornets to shoot down a Russian kamikaze drone that was a modified jet-powered drone designed to carry a short-range R-60 infrared-guided air-to-air missile. This is the 3rd confirmed interception of a Shahed variant armed with an R-60, all of which were by Sting drones. Russian desperation to protect its attack drone swarms makes clear Ukraine's growing air dominance in the low and medium altitude areas of the battlefield. Equipping the Shahed with R-60 and Igla missiles helps deter helicopters and fighter bombers pursuing them over Ukraine. Russia tacitly acknowledges the considerable losses its drones are suffering due to the actions of Ukrainian aviation, which has achieved up to 60% of nightly shootdowns. Russia's experiments show us that the Z-Horde is trying to turn its basic kamikaze drones into multifunctional threats. Ukraine's fast innovation cycle lets defenders counter these changes cheaply and quickly, keeping the initiative in the skies. This should cause unsustainable adaptation costs for Ivan in the medium term. On January 12, 2026, operators from the 412th Unmanned Systems Brigade Nemesis conducted a successful deep strike on the Z Air Defense Network at the Zaporilla and Donetsk fronts. This one-day operation eliminated 3 critical systems over 100 kilometers behind the front, using medium-range attack drones equipped with 10-kilogram high-explosive warheads. The demilitarized assets were a B-18-2 Prima early warning radar station, which is an improved variant of the B-18 series, said to detect stealth targets at low altitude up to 250 kilometers away, but can't spot drones approaching from just 1 kilometer. Curious? Another victim was a TORM, 2 short-range surface-to-air missile system designed to intercept aircraft, helicopters, cruise missiles, and drones at distances of up to 16 kilometers. A Tunguska anti-aircraft system, offering short-range defense with 30mm cannons and missiles against low-altitude threats, was finally demilitarized. This video shows a BE-12 amphibious plane from the Horde attempting to bomb what seems to be a disabled Ukrainian sea drone, or with an engine problem drifting in the Black Sea near Crimea. The BE-12 drops 4 120-kilogram unguided BLAV 250 bombs, but all miss the target, though some land nearby. This type of bomber would be completely useless against a moving and maneuverable naval drone. The BE-12 is an amphibious aircraft from the 1950s designed for maritime patrol and anti-submarine missions. It's estimated Ivan has only about 5 of these planes, still in service. The BE-12 probably took off from the Kacha Air Base in western Crimea, where they are known to be stationed, and where Ukraine destroyed 2 of these planes last year. After this, I think they're requesting a corrective visit from the primary group's mosquitoes. The invaders used Geron drones to destroy Ukraine's energy and heating, trying to force surrender through cold. Still, Kyiv residents made blackout nights into something else. What can I say? I don't see them very willing to surrender. A people willing to keep resisting. Don't forget to like and subscribe.